proliferation of, radio stations, particularly on the FM band. You said as much earlier. My concern is that a lot of them, a lot of the young people running these organizations lack the professional background to do proper presentations and delivery. Sometimes they launch into subjects that they have absolutely no knowledge of. How does it worry people like you who have been in the industry for a long while? And how do you also train youngsters who come on board, to work with you and possibly pass through you? How do you train them to cut their own niche? Because for some of us who've been listening to, who were privileged to be around at the time Reaper came in and changed the narrative and all that, we still remember all of the names, we remember their presentation style and all that. So what are practitioners like you doing to see that we still have such brand personalities emerging from under your belt?
How do I answer that question? Because it's a worry for all of us, not only in broadcasting but in the media generally. Because it's not only about broadcasting, it's all media generally. I'm very sure that in the last 2 decades plus, you have seen all kinds of manners of people who have tried to mimic what you do, have to pattern whatever publication they have after what you do. And possibly they have even tried to use city people. They have possibly removed city and
or leave city and put something else.
Or leave something else just to confuse. And then you see them falling. You see them after a short while, they are not able to sustain it because they say if you don't have it, you don't have it. If it is not pana something, it cannot be pana something. You expect that because at every opportunity that we've had as industry players, as stakeholders, we've always raised this issue, even with the regulators. And they say, okay, the market and the ecosystem will regulate itself at a point, will sanitize itself at a point. As I speak with you, there are stations that have been on air that have been off for 2 years, 3 years. There are licenses on the market that people want to just sell. There have been some that have been sold off. They will not be able to transfer ownership in terms of it because if it's a city people that have been given the license, it's quite difficult to now transfer to another person. But you have an arrangement and agreement that you can sign, and then another person runs it and all of that. Because issue of capacity in terms of the personnel running those stations, in terms of the wherewithal to run it, energy being number one to run it. So you will see that because if you're not paying well, if you're not investing in the capacity building, then you have all kinds of manners of elements coming on there to want to run this thing. They are not well grounded, that they don't even know. The only thing they know about broadcasting is how to put on the microphone and open the phone line. That is all. All the basic elements and basic rudiments of what you should do before you go on there. They don't know it. What I teach, what I've taught in the last 10 decades and a half is that the job of a presenter is like that of a pilot. Like that of a pilot. The pilot will not just jump into the cockpit and start flying. He gets there, he must be in his perfect state of mind. And that's why they go for periodic tests and all of that simulation and all that. You must be very, very sound. So as a presenter, you must be sound. 2, you take your whatever, the brief, the charts and all of that. You study everything, the flight path, the weather condition, the weight of the plane, where is the weight concentrated. Everything must be before you start planning. And then when you want to fly, the first the first challenge is how to take off, which is very, very difficult. If you are not very, very careful, you will get thrown off. Then when you get to the perfect altitude, how do you moderate in such a way that the storms that will come, which you expect, will not throw you, and then finally landing. It's the same principle that applies on radio. If you are not prepared well to go on air, well groomed, well prepared, doing your research and all of that, taking off, maintaining an altitude where you can moderate well, and landing will be a disaster. And that's why you said, I have a station where I do. So those people must be doing something right for you to want to go back there. The next is, okay, this person is on, let me go and listen to him. If he's not doing it right, you will go there. Because your listening span is it's very short. What's this one doing? You move on. It's not serving your purpose. So that will happen. But what are we doing? Before we took off, we started training some of the young lads. Even before test transmission, we were invested in training them. That's why I said we don't have just 5 or 6 young hands are the ones that we're running with, and we continue to train them periodically, bringing people within and outside the industry to come and teach them about the ethics, about the laws, about the principles and philosophy that broadcasting, about the broadcasting of now. The broadcasting of now is that you have to speak with the people and you have to engage. You have to read their mood and put yourself in the mood. Unlike what we used to do, whereby when we say radio as or magazine, you can do whatever you like. There's no feedback. There's instant feedback. Instantly, people will tell you what is that person doing on social media, and your feedback is what is that person doing there, and they will even embarrass you. I give you an instance. There was a topic about a few days ago, and I went back to read the feedback. And somebody said, I'm a university professor, stop pushing the Eurocentric narrative on us. I can't recall the topic. Maybe it was a caller on the program. And so somebody was listening and was sending and said, stop, I'm a university professor, stop pushing the Eurocentric narrative on us. We are Africans, we are this, and we are this. So I was still working to see, okay, what the topic was and all of that. So every time you go on radio, there are people who do not know at all. There are people who know just a little, and there are people who know so well, they can teach you and teach your teacher. That's how sound they are. And they're listening to radio. So you have to represent the full spectrum. Do not assume too much knowledge, but also display a level of knowledge, or else you'll be flawed. You'll be flawed. Because if you display, let's say, maybe a university professor is listening to you, you are debating tax reform. You are just basing your own argument on what you have read in City People. Or this. You don't even know why the angle City People was coming from. Maybe City People just looking at the entertainment aspect of it, which the whole thing is deeper than that. You are just relying on that. Or a narrative pushed online by spin doctors. There are spin doctors all over the social media. And you come there and the person will say, what are you talking about? Why are you comparing the economy of Nigeria to Ghana, to South Africa? You look at the population, you look at the landmass, you look at all the other elements and the ingredients that make a great nation. And you have to weigh it in terms of population, natural resources, human resources, and all of that before you can. And the person will floor you. You're just sitting there. You're just sitting there. So that's why you must display a level of knowledge, but don't display too much knowledge. Because in trying to do that, you will just display your ignorance. And to be so clear and blunt, they will request that. So please, don't.
Next time.
But that's the challenge that we have in the industry. I think we were at a forum at the Sheraton Hotel some years back, and a university professor got up and came and was talking the media economy in Lagos is a 50 billion economy. So how will a radio station or TV station say they cannot pay licenses between Ota and Abule Egba? The radio station and TV station there, should be making nothing less than 25 billion naira in a year. And he was saying it, and the thing was going on TV and radio live, and the NBC people were there. I said, hello, are we going to sit down here and allow this man to go ahead with all this? And I said, excuse me, hello, what research have you done? And I said, Professor Ralph Akinfeleye, sir, with due respect to you, sir, you are here. These are people that you teach and train. They have become professors and PhD holders now, that they need to come to the field. There's a need for the meeting of the gown and the town, so they can know the reality. Some of these people think that you are teaching people. What is your research based on? Some of these young lads that you push out to go and do research, you give them paper, they come and sit down in color, and they fill the paper themselves, and they return it to you, and then you are basing your research on that. What is the economy? Okay, what's the economy between Ota and this? Have you counted the number of companies there? How many are still operating and how many have closed down? Are you sure those premises are not being used for some other things? Yeah. You're just seeing the signboard. The signboard. So what is the premise of this? So even the people that should know, the people that you expect that they should know, don't even know. And that is the narrative they are pushing. And these young lads leave the university, they come here, they are not listening. If you do your research and then say, okay, 50 stations in the Southwest, and ask who the managers are, you'll be shocked at the level of people that are running some of these stations. And they're just there. They're just running. And when we say, what is going on? They say, there's an adage, if you have not some money, I cannot tell you how you spend it. It's when I say, take, you want, okay, take. And I see you buying wristwatch instead of buying food. I say, Benny, you said you wanted to eat. That was why I gave you that money. So when are you returning the money now? Because now this is what you go buy. So what this citizen say, what's your business? What's your business? What's the name of this it's Mr. Taiwo Obe. Yeah. He was in Akure and he called from Akure. He said, Rosemary, congratulations. I've been in Akure for a number of days and I've listened to about 25 stations. That all those 25 stations, all of them doing this is like it's like, you know, doing the same thing that none is standing now. I said, how are you going to stand out? I said, when you come to Lagos, we will sit down and talk. I can benefit from your experience. But that's what we have. You go to some other states, everybody just doing everything. The only thing that's changing is the name of the person presenting. And you even, I had to sit down with a young man who came and said he wanted to be on my station and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, give me an audition. I gave him. So he came with a tape that he has done, and he was speaking like some presenters from Oyo State. Oh, and I said, all of you from Oyo, Osun, maybe a part of this thing, are speaking the same way. You're presenting the same way. You are young. You are making your voice like somebody that is over 70 years. I said, what are you? And I said, sit down. Do you know Bobala Deniye? Do you know King Sunny Ade? Do you know Abuja Bello? He said, no, you know King Sunny Ade. I said, good. Do you know Orlando Owo? I said, yes. Do you know Ade Wesco? He said, yes. He said, no. Okay. I left it at that. But I know I passed the message. King Sunny Ade is still here, very relevant. Every other person that's tried to play like King Sunny Ade, where are they? So you need to have your own identity, your own voice, your own identity. Even Adeboye had not died. I doubt if some of the people that are mimicking him, that are, today that are running their shows, like, I doubt if they will have flown now. So you cannot be a photocopy and expect to. And that's what we have in the broadcast ecosystem. Everybody trying to do the same way. And that's why the advertisers will not look at us twice.
My last question is, what does it take to be a good broadcaster? Be like you or who are wondering what they need to do or how to go about it or what they need to how. What are the basic principles that
The first thing is that broadcasters are made, broadcasters are born.
okay.
But the ones that are made are more in number. But the first basic principle is that be teachable. Some people believe that as long as I can talk, I think you have a mechanic culture there. As long as I can talk and people will laugh and blah 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 blah, then so they just go on radio, they open the microphone, and things they should not say on radio, they say. Things they should not say on camera and TV, they say. And that's why you see so many of some of those things online. People, I don't know how we're going to, or what the world will do about all those blogging and all of those things that should not be said on air. You say it, you malign people, you talk about, their lives, things that are private to them, things they have done, maybe that you have privilege of knowing. You just go online, you say it. It is forbidden. So you must be teachable. You must be willing to learn. You must be willing to forget all the things that you possibly have known in the university or this thing to really learn the thing on the job. The basic principles are the same. The business of radio and radio as a business. The business of radio is like what we do in the newspapers and magazines: inform, entertain, report, blah, blah. That is the business of radio. But the other aspect is business as a radio. We have moved from just doing the business of radio, the business of broadcasting, and none of that because government was paying almost 70 to 80% of the bills. So you bring money, you don't bring money, no one. There will always be budget. But radio, TV, so government is now realizing too that since all of you are in the same market, you will only pay for your maybe energy or maybe pay your salaries, but go and run it, and then there should be a return on investment and for government-owned stations. For us in the private sector, the bottom line is very, very important. And that's why it's important for us to know that this is a business. So how do you run it? How do you make your content marketable? How do you market your content? It is not just about going on radio to just talk and say anything. How do you market it? Somebody was talking to me yesterday and said, do you sell airtime? I want to buy airtime. And I said, no. That's an old notion of radio selling airtime. No. What radio sells now is the audience that you are delivering. If you go to any of these agencies or big multinationals, the first thing they say, where are you on the log? Where are you in terms of this? What are you delivering? Your coverage, the people that listen to you, and they want to see it in black and white in terms of the data. So if you're not delivering on that, if you don't have that, if you don't have the statistics, that they will not come near you. So it's not just about it. So for a presenter or a radio person, apart from getting the training, being open-minded to be trained, acquiring training, being level-headed enough to pay the price. There's a rite of passage. You cannot jump the line. If you don't pay that price of the willingness to learn, no matter how good you are as a writer, you come in today, you cannot start writing tomorrow. You go through a process. People looking at what you have written and teaching you, this is our own house style, this is how we do it, this is. But today you see people, they just want to, if they come here and say, the next thing they're opening a blog. They are opening a blog. They say, I went to City. I know how to write now.
We're just talking nonsense.
No, they were not talking nonsense. They were not ready to give me. And they said I should
give me by line.
Yeah, that's it. And they say, no. And then they open the blog and they start pushing the thing, and you need to read and say, okay, what is in this first, second, third paragraph? You can't make any sense out of this thing. So it is the same thing in radio. They come and you tell them, no, this is not right. This is this. Yeah, your voice is good, but it's not suitable for this kind of program. Can you sit down? I may not have all the hours to teach you, but I'll take you through this maybe about three weeks. It comes the first day. The second is the third day, he says he has gotten a program in some Ox FM somewhere. Okay, all the best. 1 year after, I will come back. Mo ti ṣe program ní kìnìkan Canada come. I said, sorry. You must pay the price. You must pay the price and go through that rite of passage and know the rudiments, and then know that there's a difference between the business of radio and radio or TV as a business, because that's the only way we can survive. If you are not doing it as a business, maybe next time I'll come back here and say, how far? And I say, we've been down for 6 months because we cannot pay for this and pay for this.
Thank you very much.